I almost totaled my car, and I paid the price out of my own pocket. I started driver's ed a little later than I anticipated, since my mom found it scary for a 14-year-old to be on the road. So, a month or so after I turned 15, I did segment 1, and I passed with flying colors. I mean, I don't know how you could possibly fail a driver's ed test. I mean, you'd hope people are smart enough not to fail it, because some of the questions will hit you like, what do you do when an emergency vehicle is speeding from behind you? I don't know. I think I'll swerve in front of. I'd be willing to attest that I could have passed without taking driver's ed, especially with the DMV app that gives you practice tests and whatnot, because at least I could see what they even talk about there. I suppose that's why you don't need it when you turn 18, you just do the test. Anyways, I did my hours, segment 2, and did my road test, passed the first try. I had some short Italian lady who was kind of built, had a light accent, and I felt like she was gonna crash out if I did something wrong, but she was fine, apart from when she told me,
if you get 6 points on the pre-road exam, you fail. How many do you think you got?
I think I got 2. I think I did pretty well.
Well, you got 4, but that's okay. Let's get on the road.
Anyways, I got my license. Got it unrestricted on my 17th birthday since I met the requirements. And right about then, I got my first car. I've spent about as much as the car on repairs, but I knew it was going to be a project car. At first, I was a pretty careful driver. I mean, I still am, but I was almost white-knuckle driving always, thinking I'd get run off the road if I wasn't going a few miles over the speed limit. Anyways, I loosened up and became what I call an average driver. I was the person to give rides to some of my friends when we went places if they needed, especially to the gym since we carpool from school. I never had any accidents, no run-ins with the cops. I was doing pretty good. Well, one day I was driving me and my sister to school, and there was this really bad intersection. But here, okay, let me tell you why. It's a 4-way where the 2 ways parallel to the school have no stop signs because most traffic is there for going left into the main drive line or away from the school. But there's the other 2 ways that do have a stop sign. Those are for people getting in and out of the senior parking lot / bus lot / secondary drive line that isn't even allowed to be one. Anyways, I was at the way with the stop sign going into the senior parking lot. Straight in. This is genuinely the worst way to get into the school by far, unless you catch a wave of no traffic some mornings or if you come early enough, because you have to wait for the 2-way with no stop sign and for parents trying to rush out of the senior lot to go back home or to work. But sometimes this intersection gets backed up, so it's hard to see traffic and gauge when it's safe to go. At this point, it's worth just picking a different way to get in, like going around and getting onto the road where you can turn left into the senior lot. At least you can see people there. I decided on that whenever I tried booking it across the intersection after a guy got out of the middle of the intersection, going across to turn left into the main drive line, and boom! I get hit by a giant SUV going 15 miles an hour into my back passenger side. Sends my car in a 180, so now the nose of my car is facing the opposite way I was going. I initially get out and I don't see any damage, probably because I was blacking out, which is what I tell the guy until I look at my back right tire and I notice a huge cave-in of my tire. After which I signal for the guy to follow me, which, pause, I didn't know that wasn't allowed legally, but I feel it brought more good than bad, because that could have led to catastrophic traffic. Anyways, I low-key made friends with the guy who hit me. He was honestly probably more chill because he knew it was my fault technically because I had the stop sign and so he wouldn't have to pay anything. Whole time I'm shaking and, mind you, my sister was in the car. If I didn't come darting out, my sister could have gotten hit more directly. I'm very blessed for that not have to have been the case. No injuries at all from anyone. No tickets from the police luckily though. I was late to school and my first hour teacher put me on blast in front of the whole class, who apparently already knew. So it's whatever. I probably should have went home, but I made it through the very frustrating day. As I was driving to the repair shop, my tire popped 2 miles in, and I only had 2 miles left. Well, this is great. This caused me to call my dad to have him pick me up and get a car jack for me to put a spare on and drive it a little further to the shop. This ended up costing me $700, which I took upon myself to pay for by working egregious hours for an entire month while studying, because I feel that I should have taken care of it, as it was my first time and I knew I could have easily prevented this, so I should learn my lesson now. The ripple effect was insane though. Forgetting my work uniform here and there, almost forgetting to get my sister a ride, missed gym days, I needed rides from my job every day. Thank goodness it's a place that literally had delivery drivers who can work my ride into the routes. But a month later, I got my car back. Man, I definitely learned to be extra vigilant on the roads from then on though. I love my car, and I love being able to drive it and not work a million hours for it all to go toward what my bare minimum is. That was definitely a hard hit for me with a lot of things, but in the end, the ripple effect was restored immediately, and so did my hours and my money. I'm grateful to have learned and not really get hurt in the process, at least physically. But one thing though, drive carefully please, especially with passengers, and definitely don't drive under the influence. That's bad and could cost like $1 bajillion in damage, like buildings and stuff, and people. All right, bye. Hey guys, thank you for watching, and if you made it this far, then you are an awesome person. And it may be about 2 weeks or so before the next video, just because all next week I'm out because I'm at a summer camp, and so I need a bit more time for the next video. And also another thing is that I actually had the script for this video and the last one already written, so this is where I really lock in on content, because I do already have ideas. I just need to write scripts for them, and I also have ideas for when I don't have ideas, so just expect some more stuff coming out. I'm just going to be out for a little bit longer. And if you like what you see, make sure to let me know by liking and subscribing and giving me any feedback that you might have in the comments. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.